Changes in life are inevitable. I believe I said that right. Changes are unavoidable, which sounds a little better for me. But changes are unavoidable. But I learned in life that things are always going to change. But I've learned in life to also create the change. Constantly, we live in this idea where we're reacting to things, where we're not really in control of things. And I agree, I don't think we're in control of everything. But I also agree that we are in control in how we react, or also how we create change. And I'll make an example. Like I worked for a company for a while, and the company was good. They were paying me good, but man, I hated working for like I just hated the job. Like it was just I don't know. It wasn't for me. Like I would rather like work for myself or be working on building something. But anyway, what had happened was I let that job go with no security, with, like I didn't have like 6 months saved. I just created the change and created and put myself in a situation where I had to make it happen. And that's what brought about the biggest change in my life, because when I counted on myself and believed in myself, and instead of letting something happen where I would lose the job because I wasn't doing it correctly, I decided to make the initiative to just leave the job and have no security and figure it out. And I did. And you can do the same thing too. It's like there's a lot of things that hold us back. And this is pretty much our thoughts, and we think the worst in our minds is gonna happen, but none of that comes to fruition. Like you literally, no matter what, you're always taken care of. You got to think about the worst things you've gone through in life and say, man, I survived them. Because if you're listening to this, you survived them. You know that you haven't healed from it, that you're still, healing from it. I can understand that. But what you thought in your mind was going to be the worst, the end of your life, and it wasn't going to change, never came to be. So I believe that change comes to us, but also change is created by us. And I think that if in your life there's things that you believe you need to change, or things that aren't working for you, this is your experience and your responsibility. And I believe that if you make the initiative and make the change, things will fall into place how you want it, or even better. And that's with relationships, that's with jobs, that's with friendships, that's with opportunities. I always talk to my brother, and anytime he has an idea, I tell him, move on it, move on it, move on it. Do it, just go for it. Like life is gonna happen to you no matter what. But if you're here also shifting things and moving pieces, you have a bigger chance of creating more of what you desire, because you don't have that fear of the change. You don't have fear of ending things, of going another way. And that is so powerful. That is your most powerful tool, to be able to create the change instead of reacting to a change. And there's been times where how I learned that change, it can also be created by me, is because I had a good job growing up. Like I worked in a hospital for many years. I met amazing people there. But I never liked the job. Like I spoke about it on another episode. Like I worked in the hospital. I was making a lot of money. I was young, no kids, but I hated the job. And, that was a deep force within me that didn't like the job. And I didn't know why. I thought it was ego, but then I realized it's just who I am. But I never liked the job, man. And it was like a lot of people were like, man, you used to have such a good job. And I just didn't like it. And then, if you don't create the change some way, somehow, the universe created the change for me, because something happened where I got into some trouble. I show up to work. They tell me you're suspended, but I didn't even take it as a suspension. When I got back to work and they told me that something had changed and that they were suspending me, I told them, you know what, you can keep the job, because I'm not coming back. And that was a point in my life where I realized that instead of, the change came where they suspended me. I wasn't fired. But my change came where I made the choice and decision to walk away from the position. And it was it hurt a little, it was like a sting. It was like breaking up from a relationship. It was like, like, wow, like, what am I going to do now? But I just knew that there was something better out there for me. And I think all of us have that voice where there's just something better for us out there. And, I don't want to talk about relationships, because I believe relationships are a work of art, because you have to work with each other. You have to understand each other. There's things that's going on, and there's issues that, you might have certain rules, and for the right person, you might bend those rules, and it's just relationships are a deeper topic. But if you need to make a change in your relationship, I agree on making that change because this is your experience and it's for you to be happy. If you're not happy in your current situation, you're in charge. This is not just things falling in your lap. You can find somebody else. You can find another job. You can create another avenue for you. You can make new friends. And it'll be like you knew them forever. It'll be like the same friend that was your friend who you like, man, I'm always calling him, I'm always calling that person. I'm not saying that's reasons and friendships. Everybody's busy, everybody has their life. But if you feel like a close friend is not really a genuine friend, walk away. Like my mom had she always had this portrait in my house, and it said, if it was in Spanish, and it says, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. And I believe that's friendships, anything that you find value in. I believe you can adapt that mindset towards it because change is gonna come. That and what's changed also taught me is to know that these are good times, but also be in the back of your mind, stay calm and just continue to work because it's gonna shift and that you're gonna have to figure something else out. And I know that sometimes we want our life to just like flow. Even me, like I've been through a lot and I still deal with BS sometimes, and I think that's just life. I think it's just the challenges. I think it's just to see where you're at. I feel like life is just a big test and you're constantly tested because no matter what I've been through, I still get those tests, man. I still got the pushback. I still have to see things and look at things and be like, come on, man, like this is supposed to be free flowing for me. What did I go through this for? Like those are questions I have still. But I have to understand also that acceptance of everything is the key to everything. And I accept everything, but what I can change, I work on changing it no matter what, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much it might affect people around me. I make the change. I don't allow change just to come to me, even though it does anyway. But I also make the change because you have to realize that the change is also from deep inside you. When you can't do it on your own, the universe will create situations for it to mess up on you, and then you'll be like, oh my God, it messed up, and then you'll cry for a while, you'll be depressed, and then you'll focus on that closed door, but then you'll focus on the new door that you're walking through, and you'll realize that there's new opportunity out there, that the change wasn't a punishment, that the change was an opportunity. But in order for you to realize that the change was an opportunity, you have to accept that change or create it yourself. And my name is Santiago Brito, and thank you for listening to the I Will podcast. That's today's episode.